welcome back to the only podcast that makes you taller just by listening to it. I'm, of course, Travis, here with Jen.
I have to disagree with that. It is not making me taller.
Well, you are the exception to the rule.
I need height.
It's a money-back guarantee. Of course, you didn't pay anything for this, so you can get none of your money back.
Where can I submit my claim?
You can take it to Walmart, because I'm sure they take everything back. I bought this podcast online. By the way, if you paid someone for this podcast, you just got ripped off, because this is free. I don't know what's going on out there, but best
stuff is free. There's nothing better than free.
It's very difficult to be better than free.
Like, you can't tell me that free food doesn't taste better.
It depends on where that food came from, Jen.
Free samples, free food.
Samples are great.
Nothing tastes as good. Nothing tastes as good as free.
Especially if it was expensive at one time and then it's free. That's the best. Here's an expensive donut. Normally you can't afford it, but you get a free sample today.
Or that's what I'm saying. Or you go in at said expensive donut shop and they're like, "Here, we threw in an extra free one." You're like, "Oh,
yeah, that's happened to me." Well, it happened at this really high-end cookie place down the street from my house. One time I went there and got these cookies, and they were like, "Here's another one that we just can't sell it because, I don't know, something. It wasn't bad or anything. We just threw it in there for you." I'm like, "Yeah, because part of it broke." I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely."
Yeah.
He was going to break it in my mouth.
I can help you with that.
Yeah, I can assist you with that issue. All right. Anyway, welcome back to the Cookie Podcast. Here we go.
Cookies not cake?
Cookies not cake. I think that's what we're going to have to put in the thumbnail this week. As you see, I've been putting different things in the thumbnail as a little hidden little treat. Oh, we got dog podcast going on over there. It's okay. I love dogs. I'm not that worried about it. Jen is mortified, but I don't care. And by the way, if you are a podcast listener and you're listening to the audio-only podcast, welcome, of course. If you just found us, some people are finding us through Spotify and all these different ways. If you're on the YouTube channel, which, by the way, we do have a YouTube channel. I think someone left a comment. Oh, I finally found you guys. Yeah, we've been on YouTube for quite a while now. The link is in the show notes of the audio podcast. And if you want to listen to the audio podcast, the link for that is in the description of the video podcast, which is interesting because as we're recording this one, we actually have a podcast that hasn't been released yet. It'll be released by the time you've heard this podcast. And there was a section that I thought was pretty funny. I shared with Jenn and Rob. Rob was with us in the last episode, and which was a great episode. And we want to do more of those with Rob. We love Rob. And for some reason, I listened to just the audio version of it only rather than the video, because normally I'm messing around with things on the video. And there was a different feel to listening to the audio podcast without a visual. I think some people are interested in seeing a visual. Of course, we're not really screen sharing anything right now. We're just kind of our faces, and it's mainly just for YouTube. But listening to it allows you to fill the visuals in with your imagination, and sometimes that's funnier.
Really?
I think so. You didn't get that feeling when you listened to the audio, or no? I mean, I kind of did.
I mean, I didn't really think about it. But maybe because I know what we've recorded is different. How do you separate that?
I don't know. It just, I was sitting there. I wish I could play it. I guess I could play the little clip I'm talking about. But anyway, just hearing it versus seeing the visuals, I don't know, made it definitely make it feel more podcasty. But anyway, I'm sure the only people that are listening to this intro part are the people that just love this podcast. Everyone else who's new here is like, okay, what is this? Can we get to the question? Sure, of course. Let's get to the questions. First question comes in from our text message line, which if you're listening to the audio podcast, there's a little link at the very top of the show notes that says text us, and that's where that comes from. So this one is from the UK. Hi, Travis and Gen Z imposter. with the eye emojis. I think the eye emojis are the best emoji that there is. Now this is funny. My name is Just, but I think what happened is they put in my name as, and they were going to put their name in, but they didn't. It says my name is Just, or maybe that is their name, Just. And I recently started a prayer channel called Praying Introvert. I want to incorporate shorts to my channel for greater discoverability. I've been doing the vidIQ lessons. I tried using clips from my long form videos for shorts, but they don't seem to do well. I'm guessing because of the ratio and lack of hook, would it be better to do short videos from scratch and link to the long form videos? So we talk about like how to use shorts strategically a lot. And how to use shorts strategically for ultimately your long form stuff, I think is probably the wrong way to think of shorts. I think shorts are their own thing. And as much as we want to shoehorn shorts viewers, because shorts viewers tend to be easier to get than long form viewers, it's just not really much of a thing. It's not to say that you can't ever do it. Of course, you can sometimes do it. But we've seen here at vidIQ millions of views on shorts, and the little funnel of views that come from that to long form is so small that your effort should really be more into either making a better long form content or a better short form content, and just doubling down into that. What do you think about that, Jen?
I think that it's always worth a try to repurpose content. I think that everything you're saying is spot on for, this creator as well as other creators. Obviously, we all want to repurpose content. I don't think everyone is in the position with the type of content they make where that's going to make the most sense, or maybe you don't have the skills to do it yet to like condense that into a really small story. But when I think of something like this that we said, it was a prayer channel?
Yes.
Yeah. A short to me for something like that would be, how can you just record a quick like daily prayer that would make someone's day better? It's not a high effort thing. It doesn't have to be a huge production, but it's related to your channel. It's serving the same audience in just a slightly different way. And that's really all you can ask for. You really just want the same audience and the same type of content. And whether they, flip flop back and forth, small amount, large amount, you want both people to be happy. Yeah. And I feel like that's just a really easy way to do it.
I agree. It's actually a really good idea to do like short kind of daily prayers, which would be easy to kick out. You could have the wording on the video, like it can just be the words. You don't need to be in front of the camera or anything. I think that's a great idea. But yeah, I think ultimately it still comes down to who's the viewer of shorts versus who's the viewer of long form. It doesn't mean you can't get, again, people who watch your shorts. Obviously, if you're going to watch a bunch of dailies, you might go, oh, well, I want to get more in depth into the prayer portion. Let me go to this main channel. Totally possible. Absolutely possible. But I think too many creators get so like that's their primary thing. How do I get all these shorts viewers into my long form? And I feel like that's causing frustrations amongst creators when shorts really just try to be their own thing, and we're just trying to force it into something else, which is interesting because the very next email, which we get at theboost@vidIQ.com, that's our email address, theboost@vidIQ.com. Hey everyone, it's Nick. I've been a long time fan. I love you guys.
Oh, hey Nick.
Hey Nick. I've been a long time fan. I love you guys' chemistry. I missed the man about tech every intro though. Okay, yeah. Listen, Viper's doing well. He does a, I think every day on Twitter/X. He still does like the coffee time thing. So if you're interested in that, you can hear him there. Anyways, I have a few important questions. I feel like everyone should be asking for YouTube Shorts. Okay, as you know, 3-minute long shorts have been implemented, and that means new strategies for short creators to draw attention. So what are tips for reducing drop-off for longer videos? Should the pacing be slower? Should intros be more detailed? And does this open the game up to more memorable and a standout figure in short form? Also, what do you think would carry from short forms over to long forms?
Here we go.
Here we go again. So I think here's what's okay. I got a lot to say on this. We've said a lot about it. I think I don't remember what we said with Rob because that was a while ago. Everything's a blur, Jen. Every time we do a podcast,
the month of October is a blur.
I'm upset.
Where did October go?
I'm so upset by that went so fast.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I think we're back to what we just said. Trying to. But the thing that's confusing for most of those creators is like, okay, well they're giving us 66% more. Or what is that? 130% more. Whatever it is, a whole bunch more time in a short. But I'm going to just say this again. I think the only reason they've done this isn't because they've necessarily seen. I mean, they can always make the data say whatever they want it to say. That viewers need and want that. They're doing it because TikTok did it, and it's kind of working on TikTok. But I think it works on TikTok because there was no other long form content. It was only short stuff. So when they add a little bit more time, it's like, oh, okay, we can do more of that. But YouTube had long form content, and making their short form content longer doesn't make any sense to me. They're only doing it to be in parity with TikTok. And again, I'm sure they've done the science behind it, and it probably is fine or whatever. I think what you're going to see is a whole bunch, at least initially, is a whole bunch of horrible 3-minute shorts when they first get live. I think they're going to be a bunch of terrible shorts because people think they're going to treat them like long form content. That's not what a person who's on the short shelf really wants. And I think we're going to see I'm going to make a prediction here. I'm probably going to be wrong. But the nice thing is even if I am wrong, I doubt that this information will ever come out. But I bet you that the sweet spot for really great shorts will be between 45 seconds and a minute and a half. I think that's where the sweet spot of shorts is going to end up. I think much beyond that, you'll have some people that watch longer ones, unless you're like a super creator. Like if Mr. Beast put a 3-minute video on it, probably would work. He probably could do an entire video in 3 minutes, probably would work. But I think most creators can't do that for various reasons. Either the subject matter doesn't lend itself to there, or they don't have the skill set or the knowledge or the charisma to do it. I think you're going to see a bunch of terrible 3-minute shorts. What do you think, Jen?
Oh, I think you're right, where the long shorts are going to fall on the shorter long side. And I think that like minute and a half is going to be the max that people are going to want to deal with on YouTube. I just don't see someone watching longer vertically when they have the option to just watch like actual long form content. I don't know. I mean, okay, I would love to see a world where we get rid of long shorts and let's have short longs. Let's bring back like the original discoverable video that's like 3 to 5 minutes on YouTube. Like if anyone's been watching YouTube for a long time, that was the length of videos. Like that was actually the length of like a full long form video. It was like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or shorter. And those were highly discoverable. And if we're aiming for discoverability with, longer shorts, we should have the same option for shorter longs. I don't know what that looks like, but.
Well, now here's another question, Jen. Let's pretend that I'm one of your coaching clients. And most of my videos, my long form videos, my quote long form videos are only about 3 minutes, 30 seconds anyway. And I could probably drop 30 seconds off. Do I just now convert all those to longer shorts, or do I keep them shorter longs? In the environment in which we live today, not like a hypothetical, we get rid of shorts, longs, whatever. But like today, I'm like, well, I look at my most of the stuff I have, and most of my stuff is like 2 minutes, 55 seconds anyway. Do I just convert those into shorts, or do I keep the quote long form version of that?
That's interesting. I mean, it would definitely be content dependent, like watching through a handful of them and seeing, like, when you watch a video, Travis, and you're like kind of in creator mindset and you're like, oh, cut.
Right.
Like,
right.
So if we're watching through a video and you're like that, you're like, oh, that could have gone. Why'd you put that in there? And that could have gone. Then like, yes, that speaks that your content could be edited a little bit, tighten up the story a little bit. And then it's going to get recognized as, a short anyways. You might as well. I don't think anyone's watching like a 2 or 3 minute long. I wouldn't. Would you?
I wouldn't. No.
No.
I think, but the thing is also, it's like, from strategically speaking, if you have videos that are, by the way, nowadays music videos are like 2.5 minutes, so that's a whole other ball of wax. But like if you have a content creator that's only doing videos of a certain length, technically it's like a cheat code to get more views. Whether those views will be beneficial to your channel or not could definitely be argued. But if most of your content is within that range, for me currently, it's too early for me to give advice on this for someone who's in that situation, which I believe there's probably more creators in that situation than we're even aware of.
Probably.
But like drawing channels and stuff, like especially if you do speed runs through drawing and stuff, like now you have this choice of, I have short longs as it is. Should I just make those shorts? And for me, this is the situations where I wait before I have any kind of like strong opinions on it. I wait to see what happens in the ecosystem of YouTube, because it is an interesting situation. It's the first time where we've really had this. Of course, there's been like videos that were like 30 or 40 seconds that were long form before shorts were invented. So of course it was an easy move. But now we're talking about, I believe, a larger subset of creators who aren't just throwing up random videos on YouTube, which I think was the first bucket I just talked about, where you have this random video where you went and saw something funny, so now you're going to put it up. Oh, I should put it as a short now. But this is like, I actually been content creation for years, and for whatever reason, I got some videos that are under 3 minutes. Should I just convert those? I mean, I say test it right off the bat. It'll probably do all right, because probably YouTube will push them, at least initially, to get some more data about it. Long term, I'm waiting to see.
I don't know. I think there's, also the potential where if the longs already exist, you can edit them. I mean, if format wise you're able to turn it into a short, then like you could potentially test both while we're in this in between phase.
You could. It's a great idea.
Because I mean, timestamp's the same, yes, format's still different, but I don't know. I don't have high hopes for it, but then again, I don't have high hopes for shorts in general either.
And you were wrong on that.
So wrong, and I still wish they would leave.
I know. All right. This one is from Filmmake Games. Hi, Jen, Travis, and the vidIQ crew. I love your podcast, and I listen to it whenever I can. I already have made a target, and by the way, this is the subject for this is how do I know my target audience? I think we're going to sit and talk about this for a minute, the target audience thing. I think this is an important subject, so we're going to get into this. I have already made a target demographic for my YouTube channel. However, I don't know if this is the audience I am attracting. How can I find the right audience? Is this the audience I attract? Is the audience I attract always the right audience? Please provide your insights. Thanks. P.S. This might be an email, but I use my phone first to type it. Why am I getting clowned on my own podcast? This is shenanigans.
Oh, because you're just an easy target with this.
Terrible. Okay, this is a great question, and I do want to go into this because it's perhaps one of the most, besides topic, audience is one of the most important things to understand about YouTube. Like literally, this is the podcast. This episode of this podcast, whatever we talk about after this and whatever we talked about before, those are all great things, super things. This, lock in, everybody. Lock in. Go get your popcorn. If you're a coffee drinker, go get your coffee. Sit down. Prepare to get your minds blown. Blow their minds, Jen.
Wow. Wow.
I say all that because I'm not trying to do it. I'm trying to have Jen do it.
That we throw around a lot of terms like this. And when it comes down to it, it's like, does everyone actually understand what it means?
No.
And the answer, I was going to say probably not, but no also works. But we say target audience, we say ideal viewer, we say your avatar. But what does it mean to just make somebody up? Like, that's such a confusing thing. And it feels like there's so much room for holes and how that applies to your channel and your content and everything that you're doing on the platform.
Yeah.
So how do we actually start? First, let's talk about the fact that the audience you're seeing in your analytics is not, well, most likely not the audience you're trying to attract, especially as a small channel. You're continuously working on YouTube throughout, several years to find the audience that you're trying to connect with. So using your demographics for who your audience is for establishing it does not make sense. That is something that creators do very, very often. So if you're doing it, don't feel bad. But when I start to have the conversation, like, have you thought about your target audience? Do you understand what it means? And then they just read me off what their demographics are. That's like the first go-to, the first mistake. You have to create who you want to reach. And you do this intentionally, just through every decision that you make, from the style of thumbnail that you choose. For instance, I was just working with a channel who was trying to, attract primarily a male demographic, and they had someone like on Fiverr or whatever create thumbnails for them, and they sent them back for review, and they were all pink, and they had like hearts on them and all these things, and I was like, if you looked at that just first glance, does that read like a total male audience? Like, most likely not at least at first scroll. And they were like, wow, yeah, that makes total sense. So it comes down to every single decision that you make, from the colors you choose to the styles that you choose, just to have the composition of your thumbnail, the language that you use within your titles, and just in your videos itself. It's the difference between talking to kids and talking to adults. All of these things work together, and then you just kind of really specify exactly who that person is, and you just make it up. That's like the one thing I feel like we don't talk about. You just make up who this person is. You just make them up, and then you do everything you can to speak to that made up person.
Yeah, you're not wrong. While you were speaking, I kind of got inspired. I would actually say in a lot of ways he's my mentor, Liron Segev. So Liron actually used to work at vidIQ when I first started here, and I learned a lot about coaching and YouTube and stuff from Liron. Super smart guy. He has his own business now. He has a 1 million subscriber channel. He also speaks at Vid Summit and stuff. And he has a presentation that he gave at Vid Summit about like internet security and stuff, security for your YouTube channel. But then also he's done some stuff when I used to do the group coaching here at vidIQ about target acquisition with like who your target audience really is and how YouTube looks at that. He gave an incredible presentation. So I'm thinking, why don't we just have him on the podcast? So I just messaged him, and I actually want him to come on and talk about this thing because I think this subject is super interesting, and he has a really compelling take on it. But what you said is a good way to like bubble it down. Technically, you are making this person up. That is very true. You're coming up with, and when you see how in depth some people get, some people will talk about like, oh, my avatar is this, is Mary. She's 32 years old with 2 kids. She works at a grocery store, and she loves YouTube, and she wants to be able to share her passion of food with other people. Like, they'll get to that degree. And a lot of creators will go, yeah, but why do I need all that? And in a certain way, you don't necessarily need all of that. But the reason that you go into that much depth is to get the kind of rationale of that person and the type of things that they'll like. Because if you know other things that they're interested in their life, you know how to speak to them in a specific way that connects them to your audience stronger. I think Liron is really the right person to bring on here. So I've reached out to him. We'll see if we can get him on a future episode. But just as a takeaway for this particular episode, what you can do is in your mind, just as Jenn has said, write down a person that you would be the perfect viewer for your channel. But one of the most important things you need to understand about that person isn't just what they like of your content, but what other type of content they like. Because ultimately, if you're making content for this person, it needs to be somewhat adjacent to the other stuff they like, at least in some way connecting, so that you can get suggested by that other content. Because once you find that person, you're going to find other people just like that person, and YouTube will do all the magical YouTubery things. So, and if it would be really interesting. Maybe we should do a contest. This might be fun, where we have people write in their avatars. Maybe email us at theboost@vidIQ.com with your avatar, your fully fleshed out avatar, and the best one. I don't know. We'll do something cool for them. I don't know. Maybe
I love it.
Maybe we'll audit their channels. I don't know.
Right? People think that the detail is not necessary, but even just based off of the person that you just made up, 32 years old, young mom, 2 kids, obviously working, and we're talking about a food channel. The things that are going to be important to that person are so different than, say, a single 35-year-old who lives alone. This mom is busy. She probably wants one-pot meals. They probably need to be prepped ahead of time, maybe slow cooker things that are very hands-off. She's watching her kids. So there's like a whole different mentality that goes into what is going to be attractive to this person. And when you think about that person, you think about, well, how do I make it sound attractive to that person? You use keywords that are important to that person, like one-pot meals for busy moms in under 30 minutes. Like things like that are how you narrow down and speak directly to your audience. But when you don't have an idea of who they are, you're kind of speaking to nobody.
Yes. I love that. You're exactly right. So that should give you guys a way to dip your toe into this subject. We'll get Liron on and get dumb deep into it, super deep, like put your goggles on deep into it with him. So the next email is a request for you to read. So it is the subject matter is YouTube Patreon question, but I just forwarded it to you so you can read it.
Fun. Everyone's just, making me work a little harder.
But you did such a good job before that I think it's amazing.
Travis is just making this up. Nobody asked me to read this.
No, look at it. Read what it says first line. Go ahead. Try to expose me. Let's see what happens.
Hey, Jenn and Travis. Parenthesis, I want Jenn to read this. And parenthesis. Love the podcast. The way you guys talk to us viewers and each other is so inviting, friendly, and fun. That is so sweet. I love this kind of feedback. I started 2 YouTube channels this year. One, Everyday Epics, started all right, but has since stopped growing. No new subscribers since August, even though I upload once per month and a short or 2 in between the long form uploads. This channel has high effort videos, so I can only produce one video per month with my full-time job and requiring other people to help me film. Okay, that's a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
The other channel I started, Crisscross Dash, POV Hot Wheels tracks videos. That sounds epic, which seems to be a saturated market with kind of high competition. I feel like this is a space on the platform that I need to dip my toes into. I have not been exposed to the POV Hot Wheels videos
That
yet.
sounds amazing. I actually do want to see this. It's amazing. Yeah.
I've got a ton of plans on how I can set myself apart from the top channels and other growing channels, but unfortunately, those ideas do cost quite a bit of money to do right. Oof, my channel is still struggling to grow after a great start. Would it be a good idea to start a Patreon to attempt financial support to make better videos and make them the way I envisioned? This is definitely, I feel like, a very common situation and a good question.
So what I think what they're asking is, again, because they're trying to get, they have two channels, which I think if you're really starting off, having two channels can really split you, especially when one is already very difficult to put together. Might be a little bit too much. I think you need to focus on one or the other. If these both give you joy and ultimately you just want to have fun, okay, fair. But I think when we get these emails, I'm always going to take them with the perspective of the reason you're emailing us because you want to grow. So my advice is always going to be very pointed towards that fact, which you already said that your time is kind of limited and all these other things. So I would figure out which one of these you really want to grow better, faster, stronger, just like, that song. But I think, and if it's the Hot Wheels track, which sounds so much fun and so cool, I don't know what Everyday Epics is about, but you did give us more information about the Hot Wheel tracks video. And you said that some of these cost a lot of money to do right. I would wonder what that exactly means. And I think it's hard to get a Patreon early on going. It's not impossible based on what you hope to have happen. See, what Patreon typically is for is the value you are already giving. What you're doing is almost like a crowdfunding, like you would do for a product, except for you're doing it for a YouTube channel. This is not impossible to pull off, but it's probably the most difficult way to do this because you're saying, if you guys can pay for this, I can do all this cool stuff. But they haven't necessarily seen you do the cool stuff yet. They need you to see that. They need to see that first. So when I first started my tech channel, a tech YouTube channel can be very expensive, especially when you get into where I was, where you're buying smartphones every couple of months. That was very expensive. I didn't start off there, though. You know what I did the first couple of weekends I had my channel? I went to like Big Lots and Dollar Tree, and I'm looking for any kind of tech I can get. I looked at older tech I had. Interestingly, I had a piece of technology that I had in my house for a year before I shot the video. It ended up becoming my most viewed video for many years, like 400,000 views, and that was on older technology. So I think what you're implying here is, because you said it's kind of saturated with high competition, is that there is highly produced content that you're trying to go against. Why not figure out the slice that's not as high end but still interesting to people that there isn't as many people competing for? I can't speak to your niche specifically because I don't know it very well, but I'll give you an example. For example, in my space, in the tech space, something I did would end up being a pretty successful group of videos. Wasn't brand new phones, it was renewed phones. And what renewed phones are is Amazon Renewed has this product line where you can buy stuff that was like secondhand and it's cheaper, but they have a warranty behind them. And there wasn't really many people doing anything with that. So I started just getting stuff off of there. It was much cheaper. I could get products that weren't new anymore, but they were still in the same niche. That became wildly popular for me, and from an affiliate standpoint, did very well for me. And I became kind of known for that sector of tech. Because not many people were doing it. Now, since everyone's doing it, and so it's not even a thing anymore. But I kind of was one of the first people to really kind of dig into that. And there's always another angle. So what is your version of that? What is your version of being able to do it less expensive, maybe not as high quality, so that you can get them out a little bit faster, but still entertaining? Because ultimately, it's about the entertainment, especially for something like that.
Well said.
Yeesh. All right. Frank the Dank is back. His comment: The struggle is real, and I'm caught up in it. All right, here we go.
Let's hear it.
Hey, Travis and Jen. First off, y'all been tremendous help already. Thank you so much for what you do. Second, Jen, I don't know if I can read this.
Oh, Lord.
Second, candy corn is delicious.
Oh, thank you, Frank.
Comma, I hate shorts.
Oh.
Comma, and
Frank.
therefore Jen is a national treasure.
Oh, Frank. Frank.
You too, Travis, but only because your hatred for my beloved seasonal candy makes me laugh.
What a gem. Oh, Frank.
He should have had you read this. This is obviously very pro Jen here.
We are similar. I mean, what do you expect? Just shorts loving candy corn hater?
Look, here's the thing. I have an appreciation for seasonal candy. Cadbury eggs are the best dessert, the best candy you can get. I don't even call them candy.
In what? Like the things filled with cream?
Yes. No. Don't you do this. We're drawing lines here today, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you say you don't like Cadbury eggs.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
Ah, this is it.
Filling to chocolate ratio is absolutely a monstrosity.
Look, we're canceling this episode. We're done. I'm canceling this episode.
Sorry, we're not friends anymore. We're
not friends anymore. Canceled. It was bad enough you like candy corn. The fact you're hating on Cadbury eggs is undeniably ridiculous.
It's a hard truth. I can't imagine that people are going to write in saying they like them.
I'm having problems with you. I need everyone to write in. The Cadbury egg is a delicious treat. Sign it in. The boost at vidIQ.com. All right, let's finish reading this email before we get into a fight here on the podcast. All right, on to the real stuff. It's getting real. Really real. And not like everything is going so well real. Nah, I'm struggling. To preface this, I'm a father of 5 from the ages of 2 to 16.
Woo.
Okay, can we dissect that sentence there for a second? First of all, let's start with father of 5. That's a basketball team.
Wow. Is it?
It is. You get 5 people on. Well, I mean, you need more if you want to send people in, but you got kids that are young. You can have them play the entire game. It's 5.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Here's the other part.
5. That's all. Only 5 people
on the court. Yes, per team. But even worse, they're from 2 to 16. So you can't even get into your. You can't even get into.
They
a
all
groove.
Can't play basketball together, so that's unfortunate.
Not just that, but like you can't even get into a groove of like the age of children. So like you can't just have cartoons and all of them watch the cartoons, or you can't just give them one thing to do and they all like the same thing. 16 is driving. 2, they need help eating. I think. I don't even know. What does a 2-year-old know how to do? I don't know. I don't have kids, but it sounds to me like it's a hot mess. All right, and okay, he's not even done. The director of transportation at a local school district, a school bus mechanic, and full-time bus driver and driver trainer at that district. Frank the Dank is overwhelmed.
Frank is busy.
Needless to say, I'm pretty freaking busy.
That's what I'm saying. Someone send this man a bag of candy corn.
Oh God. I still want to make time for my YouTube channel, but I think I'm doing it wrong. Right now, I play all the way through a retro game and because he has a retro game channel and record the whole thing. Then write out a rough script, and we'll fill it up about half an hour with memories and nostalgia. See, that sounds like an amazing video. I then chop out everything that seems redundant and unnecessary to have about 12 to 15 minutes left. Sounds good. Then I take clips from the sometimes 10-plus hours of gameplay I've already recorded and use B-roll in between of the brief clips, just reminiscing about old bangers. I love that. Again, all this makes sense to me. Continuing my monologue throughout. It has gotten to the point where it's taken me months to finish a video because of how busy my life has gotten. Oh, man. My question is this. I have a feeling before I even read this question, I'm not going to know the answer to it because like his life is crazier than mine has ever been. But let's see. Should I continue this and just hope for a break in things?
No.
Like what? All your kids move out? I don't know.
No.
Try to dedicate more time and cut out a little more sleep? Or could I safely stop doing videos that cover an entire game at once?
Yes.
Could I do a handful of 3 to 5 minute videos on one game, remembering certain parts of the features of that game without being narrowed down into a channel that only about that game? I want to continue in the retro gaming niche, but don't want to bottleneck myself too much by doing too many videos on one specific game, thus becoming a insert specific game YouTuber. Thanks so much for your time. You guys really make this podcast feel like a home for creators. I've been listening to Tube Talk since the days of Rob and Dan. Jeez, that's a long time. I've listened to every episode. That's insane. I've enjoyed every host I've listened to. And I have to say, I hope you don't have Dan or Rob decide when you read this. I think you guys have become my favorite. Oh, and I really hope you don't have Rob or Dan on for this part. It's not even close.
That would have been so funny if we read this last week.
Oh, don't worry. I'm snipping and putting it in Slack. That's definitely getting read. They're definitely getting read.
Snip it and Slack it.
Going to Slack. Okay, Frank the Tank. Listen,
Frank, we got to come up with a new plan here. This is not working.
It is. So let's answer his specific question, because I think there is an answer within that, which is, he gives these different things. Should he cut out more sleep? Nope. Should he just continue and hope for a break of things? Nope. So we're just going to cut those two out. Here's the next one. Could I safely stop doing these videos and cover an entire game at once? Yes.
Yep.
I think that's a possibility. Could I do a handful of 3 to 5 minute videos on one game, remembering certain parts of the features of the game without being narrowed down into only that game? Yes. Because your channel focus shouldn't only be about retro gaming, because I'm going to step you back. So I'm going to do the exercise I would do if I was coaching this particular creator. Much like I did in the passive income example, which I've given videos before, I would go, okay, what exactly is retro gaming? As someone who, if you've ever seen the YouTube, well, you can't really tell in this because I have a lot of blurred background. I have like 5 arcade machines behind me, or 6. Actually, I have 10. They're replicas of older arcade machines, because I'm a big arcade game fanatic. So retro video gaming is right up my alley. What is retro video gaming? What is retro anything? It's nostalgia. So once you understand that it's nostalgia that is part of the reason that people are watching this content, and not just because of the game, your channel can be more nostalgic rather than just nostalgia game. It's not about that one game you played. It's not about Ring King or Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. It's about what was going on in that time of the world, the feelings it gave you. Did you trade? I'll give you an example. I had a game. I had a Nintendo game. I don't remember even which one it was, but it was one of my favorite Nintendo games. And I'll never forget this. I let one of my friends at school borrow it. It's not something I did a lot of. I didn't let people borrow my game. It's a cartridge. Jen, this is before your time. They had cartridges back then.
No, I had cartridge video games.
Yeah, but they were retro at your time because you're young. Listen to your elder here. All right. I gave it to him. And like a week later, I'm like, can I have it back? He goes, oh, I lost it. I was heartbroken. Because again, that was one of my favorite games. I had done something I almost never did, lend someone my video game, and unlike digital games, which you really can't lend, but like you just have a copy of them. That was it. And I was a kid in like middle school. I don't have no job to buy another one of these $40, $50 games. Back then, $50 is like, might as well have been $1 million. So that's a memory I remember. And I remember a lot of things around that. I remember that game, how it made me feel and stuff like that. So if you dig more into that, you might find these are slightly higher or lighter lifts to make these videos, because it's less about the game and it's more about elements of the game. I'll give you a perfect example. The very first Resident Evil. Anyone who's ever played that game knows of the one scene I'm about to say before I even say it. And that should tell you everything you need to know. When you walk, because I remember exactly what happened when I did this. Walking down that corridor, and that dog jumps through the window glass. By the way, I can hear about 1,000 people listening to this podcast right now going, yeah, I know it. I can hear it right now through my headphones. I can hear people saying it right now. They know exactly what I'm talking about. I threw the controller almost across the room. Scared the crap out of me. It's something you never forget. So you don't have to show the entire Resident Evil game. You just need to show definitely that part. You can talk in depth about how that part, impacted you. And then you can show other things that were highly memorable from that game. You don't need to show the whole game. So I think that's a better strategy. It makes it easier for you to make those videos, because your channel isn't just about retro gaming. It's about nostalgia. And nostalgia has a much deeper context of content, because you can even go into movies and stuff like that if you ever wanted to. If you get people coming for the nostalgia and not just for the games, then you have a little bit more leeway. What is nostalgic for you? You're so young that I don't know if you even are allowed to have nostalgia.
The first video game that I would sit up all night watching my brother play was Toy Story on Sega.
Toy Story?
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
That's the first game that I can remember. And then, of course, like Sonic. And that was Sonic. Like, yeah, he wouldn't let me play. But He was probably.
would let you play.
I mean, honestly, I don't even know if I would have been able to play. He was 5 and I was 3.
I like to point out that Jen actually does play some video games. As a matter of fact, she was telling me the other day, I don't remember if this was on the podcast or not, that she was playing what was it, Switch? What was it?
We.
The Wii. Yeah, Wii Mario Kart.
Kart.
And you said you used to be a beast at it, and then
Oh my gosh, yes. Was that on the podcast? Now I can't
I
even
don't
remember
remember.
our online and offline conversations.
I don't either. They all meld together. I just remember saying you should do Gentendo.
I did register the account.
Did you? Let's go.
I did. I registered the account, and I was like, "Let's go." About to be a streamer.
Are you gonna do it? You gonna do it?
But then I also saw. I was watching a stream the other night of this guy streaming Family Feud, and I had no idea. It had like 1.9 million views, and
God.
I didn't even know Family Feud was a game. I think it was on PlayStation. I had no idea. Yep. It was so funny, and like I am so comically bad at Family Feud. Like I'm the type of person, like you ask the answer and it's like pure panic. Like in the moment, like I could say that you have no idea what I could say. But like if you naturally ask me, I would just give you a normal answer. And I was like, I need to play some high pressure PlayStation Family Feud.
Listen, I think that channel, if we, here's the thing, there is a big channel out there that was, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's basically the gamer's girlfriend that plays all the games. And that became like a multi-million subscriber channel because it's compelling. I think Jen Under Pressure would be hilarious to watch. Playing all these pressure games, because there's a lot of them like out there, and just watching you freak out as you play or like you don't know how to play. I would watch that channel. I would watch Gentendo. That would be your name. And then we would watch you play like the bomb defusing games where you only have like 15 seconds to figure it out.
Panic.
Oh my God.
Like I don't even know what I would do in an escape room. I've never been in one.
Oh, you haven't? They're fun.
No. Are they though?
They are. If you have a group of people with you, it's fun. It's actually fun. But you need to have smart people with you. If you have a bunch of dummies, it's really frustrating.
I'm just like, I live there now.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, please unlock the door. Okay. All right, let's finish up these last couple of emails. We have, I think we have like 3 or 4 more. Okay, let's get into these. All right, so this one is by the Melbourne Superman. Andrew here, Superfit Cosplay. I'm based in Australia, by the way. So, yes, you're reaching all international. Although I was born in Jersey.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, you're a Jersey.
All right, dirty Jersey.
I hate always starting these off with just questions. So before that, firstly, how are you? I hope all is well and you're having a good day. Secondly, thanks for everything you do. Love your work. And you give me the boost I need to keep going. All right, down to business. It's a long one,
I like that. That was a good pun.
Yeah, it is, right? I'm re-listening to some of your old podcasts, and as I find better knowledge, I now can learn things I didn't understand before. Yeah, that's actually a good point. So we have talked about so we'll get messages and comments on the YouTube videos from people who are just finding the podcast. I highly recommend going back to some of the older podcasts, even ones from years ago, but going back and listening to some of the older stuff, because there are nuggets of information that make things click into place. Jen and I can only kind of surface level some of these. And by the way, the format of the podcast is way different than it ever has been. I don't believe there have ever been emails you could send in on any of the other podcasts until Jen and I started doing them. So it's a different format, but it doesn't mean you can't learn. There's tons of things to learn. Okay, here we go. I have 2 questions, and I'd love your thoughts. First, something you were speaking about in one of the episodes from a couple weeks back with the guest, talking about loading an unlisted video onto a playlist. From what I understand, it sounds like if you do that, people can actually go into the playlist and watch the video even though it's unlisted. That is true.
Yes.
Me being a metrics person, very curious about it. That's generally how I've been always uploading my videos. I pick the playlist, upload them as an unlisted video so I can get the songs checked and processed by YouTube so I don't get any copyright claims, and then schedule it out. That is what a lot of people do.
Yes.
Sure. That being said, if I'm doing this, is it possible for people to go into the playlist and check out these unlisted videos, messing with the first few hours so that it comes out before I schedule it? As in, YouTube will only see that maybe 1 or 2 people check out these videos in the first couple of hours that they've been uploaded and stop spreading it. Does that make sense? I feel I've not been explaining myself well, all the best, but may the odds be in your favor, and I hope you can share some insight. I think what he's saying.
That's a great question. That's actually a really great question.
I actually know the answer to this, which is good, because this would have been a confusing question otherwise. I think I know what he's saying. So let me see if I can clarify.
I know what he's saying.
Well, then you tell him. You tell everybody.
He's saying that if people have access to watch your video, is that video being registered as being watched? And
Yes.
therefore, like, ranking very low when you have 3 views.
And then you release it.
And then you release it. The answer is no.
Right. So technically those views are counted, as you'll see in the real time. However, YouTube only looks at publish date, which is public. So you can have something unlisted for a very long time and then publish it, and then it goes live. By the way, this happened to us not too long ago, because I will, when I upload these to YouTube, I connect them to the Boost playlist. And for the most part, I set them to private and scheduled. But there was one time I think I had left one unlisted, and I think someone went through our playlist and found the episode before it went live and watched it. Or at least maybe 2 people. So people that are like super sneaky are like, oh, I want to watch the episode early. So, for example, the episode that is going live, well, by the time you guys hear this, it would have already gone live a couple days previous. But the one that is going live for us in real time in like 4 days has actually been done for like 2 or 3 days and was uploaded and just sitting on the channel unlisted for a couple days while I got some things figured out. And I think maybe someone might have found it, which is fine. Totally cool with that. I think it's funny because obviously you're obsessed. Get help. But I think it's also great that you love it so much you actually are interested in that sort of thing. Okay, second question. Second question about niche. My most watched videos. I guys told someone to get help. Let me rewind. By the way, should we have Dr. Savage as a final segment in one of these? I was thinking about this the other day. I was considering doing a Ask Savage only segment at the end of some of these, not all, because it's not for everybody. But I was thinking maybe doing one episode where maybe at the end of the year, we'll just get a bunch of people to submit questions for Dr. Savage. And if you're not familiar with who Dr. Savage is, don't worry about it. You will be at some point. But those of you who are, maybe we'll do that. If you're interested in that, leave a comment or something and let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Okay, second question. My most watched videos are my videos about the new Superman movie coming out next year. I do cosplay suit reviews, and some of these get pretty good views. Haven't been lucky enough to get any suit makers to sponsor me with free stuff yet, so that's a tough one to do when some of them are very expensive and they come out less frequently. My question is, how do I start broadening out my niche so that when the Superman video comes out next year, I can figure out where to go from there? I'm afraid of painting myself into a corner too much. Is it simply just finding the next topic to talk about and hope when that picks up it because every time I post something it's a little bit different with the suit review? Okay, so I would say that our friend that we did a video on that has not been released, your actual clan on the Calyx, is it? Mm-hmm. He did he's doing superhero TV shows and stuff. It doesn't have to just be Superman, right? So like it's funny because he did a video about the Superman costume, if you remember that when we were talking to him.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I think your channel can be about superhero outfits and not just Superman. Now, as far as the cost goes, I mean, obviously, if you can make them, I don't know if you're skilled in that way. If you can, then that's even more interesting. But if not, I think you can definitely spread into other superheroes outfits. I don't know how you spread out from outfits to anything else. I'm not saying that you can't. I just think that you get cosplayers who are be heavily interested in that. And yes, some of your videos will do better than others, but that's just YouTube. So you might say, well, my Supermans do really well, but maybe my Spider-Mans don't do very well at all. That's just the nature of YouTube. And by the way, just because for the first 3, 6, 7 months it doesn't do well, doesn't mean over time it won't do better. Frequently does. But I think you just look at superhero outfits rather than just Superman. Okay, we're coming into the finish line. This is a very short one, but pretty difficult. I've had a YouTube channel for nearly a year now and have grown to 40 subs. But all the shorts I've been uploading recently have 0 views. I tried finding a fix, and it seems a lot of people have this issue, but I couldn't find a fix. Do you know why this happens and how to fix it? We have no context on who this person's channel is, so it's hard to even give a I don't know how to give a.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I think for me, like if I'm looking at shorts not getting any views, something's wrong with the short. Like, what is it about the short that's doing? Is it being restricted? Like, are you doing something kind of weird?
For every single one, that's just that's odd.
Yeah. Weirdly, okay, this is really funny because as we're answering this question, I just got another email from Melbourne Superman, so I'll just answer right now. And it says, "Hey boosters, Andrew here. Just one quick one for me. Wasn't sure to reach out to for some reason. The last short that I uploaded from my members only page is nowhere to be found. I can't see it in YouTube Studio. I can't actually find it. So again, it's another short. Like I can't so this other person was not getting any views. This one he's saying he can't even find it.
Maybe
I don't
there's
know.
something going on with like the update of the new shorts. They're kind of
That would be
rewiring
unsurprising.
things.
That
I
would
don't
actually
know.
not be surprising. This is why they roll things out slowly because they frequently break things when they do stuff. Melbourne Superman, I would reach out to YouTube support directly or on Twitter. There's Team YouTube for this creator about their YouTube shorts not getting any views or anything. I feel very suspicious of the shorts. Like what's in the shorts? They didn't link to their channel, so it's hard to know. It's very hard to upload multiple shorts and get no views on any of them. That's just weird.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah, I
strange.
agree with you. I think that definitely comes down to the content. But I mean, I think that, with wonky stuff going on, you can blame YouTube from time to time. Like, what was it last week when they had like analytics were down and there was no click through rate for anybody in studio? It just read 0 and impressions showed 0.
Yeah. Remember the first couple days we started this channel and we had every video had one impression
But that
for
was
like
real
2
though.
Yeah, that was real.
This
Right.
would show like last week, it would show like 0.0% click through rate, 0 impressions, and it'd be like 2,000 views on the video.
Oh.
It was like actually broken. Come on,
Yeah.
you're all over Twitter. Stay on top of it,
I
Travis.
don't know how I didn't see that. But it's definitely something that happens. Stuff like that happens all the time. Yeah. No, I was not aware of that. Jeez, I was caught off guard on that one. Okay. This is the last one. The last email for this week. Hello, friends. I have seen other services such as Rumble and Odyssey. I've never heard of Odyssey.
I just heard of Rumble for the first time yesterday, actually.
Rumble's big. Rumble's big. It's been around
I
for a
did
long
not.
time.
I've never heard of it.
And Kick is out there, but I've never heard of Odyssey, which I know for sure are competitors and alternative places for content. I've also seen that they allow you to sync your YouTube content to them. I did not know that. Now that's interesting. That's actually compelling. Because if I don't have to re-upload stuff, if it'll just sync it,
That's
like how
very
does that
interesting.
work? But I've read that it can cause a form of shadow ban if you do that for your YouTube channel. I'm sure there's nothing confirmed here, but is there any hint of truth to this? Since you can embed your content to other websites and stuff, I don't see why this would be any kind of like bad signal for YouTube. But I don't know exactly when it says syncing. I don't know what that means. Do you have to give them access to your back end, or like? I'm really curious about this because if it wasn't for the fact that, like, if I had a evergreen only channel, like all my stuff is evergreen, like just all podcasts and stuff, I would actually look into it because it's very compelling to not have to find the videos, re-upload them, retitle them, all that stuff. That sounds really compelling. But no, it should not result in anything like that. YouTube's usually pretty upfront about that stuff. Like when shorts first started, they were telling people don't use, and they still to this day tell you don't use TikToks with like the timestamp on. They're pretty upfront about that. They don't say that it's shadow banned or anything. It doesn't even necessarily affect the performance, but it could. Whereas I don't see why this would be any different than embedding. I'll keep an ear out for that for sure. I can even ask Renee Ritchie about it, but I don't see why that would be a problem. Now, again, I'm not speaking for YouTube. Anything's possible, but I don't see why that would make any sense. If you're allowed to embed YouTube videos everywhere, what difference does it make if it allows you to sync them? I don't know that it would matter. I don't know. All right. So that's all the questions we have. We've cleaned it out. This will be the second podcast this week as this goes live. So we've done 2 different weeks with 2 podcasts. I'm curious if people are finding it too much, just enough, not enough. Like, I'd love to hear back from you. So you can either leave us a comment on this YouTube video, or you can send us a text message in the show notes, or you can send us an email at theboost@vidIQ.com, where you will also tell us that Cadbury eggs are the best dessert. Seasonal.
Oh my gosh. It's just a disgrace.
Listen, this podcast is something special. I don't know what it is, but it's something special. All right, Jen, let's do the thing that we sometimes do. Find out what kind of YouTube videos we've been watching that were particularly compelling this past bit of time. I had one when we had Rob on, but I forgot to ask. Well, he had to run, so I didn't even get a chance to say it. I'll tell you mine while I give you a little time to figure out yours.
Yeah, I got to look at my history.
I think I showed you this. It's these and they just released a new song yesterday, Sindu World. It's these two older gentlemen who are rappers, and it is when you hear the rap, it's like, wow, this is a really good song. When you see the visuals, it looks like two people's grandfathers, and it is the coolest juxtaposition of cool sounding rap and older looking gentlemen. The name of the channel is, it's not a small channel anymore. They're fairly big. Sindu, Sindu. Let me look it up. Sindu. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, Sindu World. Sindu World. 2 words. And they just released a new song yesterday, which is pretty decent. The one that with T-Pain is, to me, is really funny and really amazing. So
because T-Pain is the best.
Oh, Sindhu. Sorry, Sindhu World. Okay. Yeah, T-Pain's great. All right. So what about you? What did you see and or watch?
I don't know if I watched anything new aside from my Family Feud stream.
Family Feud. So yeah, Family Feud. Family Feud has multiple video games across. Let me see. I think there might even be one on like, I don't know. There's. I feel like this is.
You know what I did? I watched a video, but I'm not going to talk about it because I really didn't like it.
Oh. What, you didn't like it because it was produced badly or because of some other reason?
It was actually a very highly produced video. I felt that the creator was very arrogant and entitled in it.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was such a great video concept. I'll say the concept. I mean, if you find the video of the creator, I don't care. Okay. But I won't say it. The concept was eating food from Facebook Marketplace for 24 hours.
Eating food from Facebook. That's interesting.
Because people sell like food out of their homes on Marketplace.
I didn't know that. That sounds terrible.
No, it's like crazy because you get like people who are, super authentic cooking just like home cooked meals. So
what didn't you like about it?
I thought the creator was like very, very arrogant.
Oh.
And they did this thing where it was it was like, have you ever seen a video where it's almost like someone is re-recording their hook in case they need to like cut the video somewhere?
Interesting.
The same way we kind of like reread.
Yeah.
If we need to cut for the main channel.
Yeah.
It was like they were doing that before like they tried every single thing, but like 3 or 4 times for like each food thing.
Interesting.
And it was just like very uncomfortable. It was just like uncomfortable to watch. It was very off-putting.
Or like for YouTube Shorts, maybe even.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was it was done very intentionally for something, but it was not good in the way that it was edited for long.
Did you look at the YouTube comments?
No, I was watching on TV.
On TV. Well, you can look at comments on TV, but it's an extra step. But you can look up. I'd be curious to see if the comments agreed with you.
I
don't know. For those not watching, you have to see her expression. The expression on Jen's face was pretty priceless.
I don't know. I hate to say it, but I thought it was going to be a great video, and it's a great concept.
Yeah, conceptually.
And it was. I mean, everything was there. It was just a personal dislike for me, but unfortunately, that was the new. Aside from Family Feud, that was the new content that I watched.
All right. Well,
I gave them the full watch through, so.
So you gave them their watch time. Now you're
I gave them their watch time. It's not all bad.
Silly rabbit. I just heard back from Liron, and just a matter of scheduling. So we'll get Liron on here in the next couple of weeks. He actually used to be on the podcast, so that's another thing. He actually ran this podcast very early on. Okay. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure and really, to be honest, an honor to get some of the comments and feedback we get. It is not lost on me that we are asking you for your time, and for some of you so early in a journey that is super exciting for you that you would trust your time with us, and we are overwhelmingly humbled by that. I think I can speak for you on that. Would you agree?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and we love it, and we talk about it every single day. So thank you again. And if you are new, we got a bunch of other episodes. Go ahead and watch those. If you're here on the YouTube channel, if you're listening in the audio podcast, tons, even more episodes. So make sure you go check those out, and we'll see you guys and gals in the next one.
We